You rolling? Hi, I'm Timothy Mitchell, the Practical Printer, and welcome to my print lab.
Hi, everybody. My name is Timothy Mitchell, and I am the Practical Printer. There's a new technology on the market. The new technology is, depending on who you talk to, either called UV DTF or DTF UV. Now, I have an expert here on this particular new technology, and I am going to be working closely with Carlos Uribe. Carlos, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Carlos is the sign and graphics technical engineer for Hirsch Solutions, and Hirsch will be at the Printing United Expo, and the booth is 2171, Carlos?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to be there with Carlos on Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. So all that we talk about today, you can see hands-on. We're going to do a video shoot, but you'll get a really clear idea. Carlos, thank you once again, and here's my idea on this. I believe the name UV DTF is completely misleading. It's wrong. It should never have been branded that. We may be stuck with it, unfortunately, but we'll try to see if we can undo it. And what I want this video to be about is because you really understand the technology, and I appreciate that. I think UV DTF, if you must, is probably better named UV Transfer-to-Object or TTO. If you want to keep the DTF part, fine, but in truth, anything you're using a UV printer for is likely to be a film, right? So there's really nothing gained by saying direct to film. Like, yeah, it's a roll-to-roll printer. Of course, I'm printing direct to film. The point is, when you say DTF, people in their mind associated with textile DTF. It has nothing whatsoever to do with textile DTF.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
It doesn't use the same ink set. This is a UV ink set. It doesn't have a powder. It doesn't have a shaker. It doesn't require heat to finish to apply to an object. And it is an object printer. It's not a textile printer. So no, you're not doing T-shirts. You're not doing hats. You're not doing that stuff, okay? It's not textile. It's object.
Correct.
And it's transfer, so you're printing onto a film that will be transferred to an object. And it's a smooth, hard object. Okay? And I think once you understand that, to me, it's like, oh, well, then what is this technology and what does it do? And that's now it's like a entirely different thing. I'm like, it's basically a UV printer, which you're well familiar with, right? And in your case, you guys sell the whole Mamaki line. And Mamaki has great UV printers. Like they are one of the innovators in all levels of UV, LED UV, but also in particular, they're masters of entry-level LED UV.
I agree.
So roll-to-roll, entry-level UV, they have outstanding products. They are great at it. And then they've introduced a UV printer, which is what this is, that also transfers to every conceivable type of solid object. I mean, that's a huge category.
Correct.
Right. Does my proposal seem reasonable that we need to almost rebrand this? Like, we're not going to get rid of DTF at this point, but it's very misleading. It sends you down this textile mindset, and none of that is applicable at all.
Yes, you are 100% correct. And I've been battling this ever since it was rolled out. And I've been trying to explain and educate customers, especially customers that already have DTF, right? The fact that you're adding UV, that they might think, oh, so it's the same thing that I'm doing now. It's just a different ink. And no,
No,
it has
not at
nothing
all.
to do with what you are doing today. So I agree. We need to educate. We need to make sure customers understand that it's a total different product, but it's also a totally different application that you can use it for.
Correct. In my way of thinking, DTF textile, which is I prefer to call it, DTF textile is a much narrower range of what you can do. And it has a much more complicated workflow. It has all these additional accessories that you have to make this work.
Correct.
UV transfer to object, or if you will, direct to object,
Yep.
UV, I'm going to call it UV transfer to object, does not require any of that apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the only thing that seems to be where you have to have it work perfectly, because UV printers are proven and Mamaki
Mm.
UV printers are proven. The only
Absolutely.
thing is they call it laminate, and I don't like the term laminate. Because
No. No. You're
laminate
not
means,
laminating anything.
yeah, laminate means you have something that you're putting laminate on to protect it. So the laminate stays, and then that goes on a surface, and the laminate protects the ink and allows for, in many cases, greater UV longevity.
Correct.
That's not a laminate, what we're doing. We're doing a transfer film or a carrier
Correct.
film or a B
Correct.
film that is
Correct.
only there to allow it to be delivered somewhere so that you can then peel it off and then put it on the final object and then take that off.
That is
Okay,
correct.
there's no film left at the end of the process.
No. Nope. Nope. The reason why people are a little confused and also misleading is because obviously right in front of the printer after it prints, there's a roll, and if you see the process, it looks like it's laminating.
Yeah,
But at the end, we all understand that it's not laminating. It's just applying a film, which you described as a transfer film, and it's using a roll to do it.
correct. So the process is a little bit like the way lamination works, and that's why I can understand the misleading terminology. And that seems to be your weak point in the process. Like if
Yep.
I were to identify what I'm seeing, and let me back this up a bit. I think one of the reasons we got stuck with the DTF name is because some of this stuff was coming out of China already. And the Chinese, being horrible at branding and marketing, decided to call it DTF UV, and now we're all stuck with it. I'm like, no, I'm not. Anyway, we're just going to delete that, I'm not going to let them brand a brilliant technology. And then they also, I think they largely, everything I've seen up till Mamaki has been a failure of execution. That is, I watched all the process of applying the transfer film and said, that's not well executed, and it needs to be. Because where that transfer film goes on cannot have any wrinkles, and it cannot have any bubbles, and it has to go on perfectly in order for this to work. So there's a certain amount of technical engineering expertise, which Mamaki can do. It's still challenging, in which I look at all of the kind of Chinese off-brands and go, yeah, I don't trust it. And I'm certainly not going to get involved in one of these where I put laminate on, transfer film on manually later. No.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I saw that and went, oh, God, no.
That is a nightmare.
So I need this to be automated, and I need to know that that roll of transfer is going on to the film that you've printed on perfectly, so that it can just roll right off, and now I can cut it all into squares, put it into a little envelope, and ship it out to someone. Or I can apply it myself, either way.
Correct. Yep. And there's two sides of business. There's two business models, as you just mentioned. You can decorate hard goods and resell them, or you can just print, cut, put it in an envelope, and ship it. Ship it to anybody.
A wedding. Yeah, like let's say there's a giant wedding, 50 people.
Perfect example.
And they want to take little we're not going to say the word, we're going to get to it. We're going to take these images, and we're going to put them on all sorts of complex curves and surfaces that then brand all of that for the wedding, and they can all apply it themselves.
Perfect example.
Because it's easy to apply these things.
And you don't need a heat press.
Correct. And that's one of the weaknesses I always saw with DTF textile is if you're sending people like DIY, well, they don't have a heat press. How are they going to apply it?
Yep.
An iron? Yeah. Well, an iron isn't exactly an even heat.
Yeah.
I mean, an iron.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. And so I almost need to buy like a $300-$400, Chinese heat press to a minimum have that. So you have this heat application at the end of the road that I think makes things a little bumpy. This doesn't have any of that. And that's why I look at UV transfer to object as a truly brilliant technology, completely out of left field, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And would only work with UV ink. Nothing else is going to work. It's not going to work with
Mm-hmm.
solvent. It's not going to work with resin-based inks.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have waited for the right company to come up with this, which Mamaki, to their credit, got to market first and
Correct.
deserves to kind of clean up on this because they were the first ones to put something together. It's right in their wheelhouse. Like it's a perfect product. Doesn't
Absolutely.
require any additional hardware.
Nope.
I totally
Nothing.
have confidence in their UV printers, their ink, their software, all that's going to work flawlessly. The transfer process is still going to be evolving. It's,
Oh,
in my
sure.
opinion, at some point it's going to get wider.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to go wide.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And and I think that this has legs to go in every conceivable direction. And I look at this technology complementing direct print UV, jig
Mm-hmm.
printing,
Correct.
as in the same way that DTF textile complements screen printing, that
100%.
they will work hand in glove. Like
Absolutely.
you will have a direct option where
Mm-hmm.
you put it all
Yep.
into jigs, and then you'll say,
Yep.
hey, that stuff doesn't work in a jig, or we're not doing enough of them, or it's an
Correct.
oddball outlier, or the size or the shape. One reason or another, you go, fine, run it on the transfer to object press because that'll do the job,
Correct.
right?
Especially for things that have a weird shape or
Yeah,
form, right? Something that has a weird shape form, something that, like you said, you don't have a jig, so you got to make a jig or outsource a
right.
jig if you don't have a laser
Yeah, and
cutter,
what, you're going to make
right?
jig for 10 items?
Or five.
Or even the jig won't work because the item is a football helmet and it's not going to fit.
Exactly. So
Now you're
there's
into like,
many
okay, we got to
reasons.
make custom made, and then you're looking at pad printing. And to
Correct.
me,
Oh,
pad
yeah.
printing, I don't want, aside from the noticeable odor, I pad
Oh,
printing
yeah.
is like, look, it
Solvents.
works, but I wouldn't call
Yeah.
pad printing the future of anything.
Yeah. No.
It seems to me that UV transfer to object is going to eat heavily into the pad printing market.
100%. 100%. Everything that's UV technology, UV LED, is taking over that little niche that pad printing has been the king for many
Right.
years. Not just because of POD, print on demand, or the uh just the fact that you can really accomplish uh short runs with super high quality multiple colors and super sharp images and texts. um I think that's the key for
Right.
to success.
Much higher quality image with UV, much greater color depth, much more complex images, much finer drop, and then you get all
Mm-hmm.
the additions of using a white ink backer, and then you also get the additions of using clear gloss effects, which it's
Correct.
like, okay, a totally different ball game as far as print quality and the overall impression of the prints, just
Absolutely.
night and day.
And also comparing it with other technologies that we all know, like screen printing and pad printing, um, you will never ever get the chance to print multiple colors with special effects, like embossed textures, for example. That technology, pad printing and screen printing, is just not set up for that.
Right. I think this is a truly groundbreaking technology. I mean, I'm just thinking of, there's a huge amount of things out there in the world that are solid objects. As I'm
Mhm.
sitting here, right here, I'm like looking around and going, okay, I got headphones, I got cameras, I got lights, I got
Yep.
everywhere I
Yep.
look is a solid object. Now
Yep.
I have two
Yep.
questions for you about it. The first is, if I put this on something, how is the bond? How well does it bond?
That's a great question, and we get that question over and over again. My answer to that question is, once you apply it, just make sure you love it, because it's going to stay.
You're
We
married
go
to
through
it.
this. Yeah, we go through this all the time. We after right after the expo, a week or 2 weeks after the expo, where people pick up samples, right? They bring them home, they apply it, they transfer this UV direct to film to object to their iPhone case, right? Or they give it to their kids and their kids apply it to their iPhone case. And guess what? They call me and they ask me, Carlos, how do I remove this? You're going to have a hard time trying to remove this, especially after 2
Right.
weeks. Once it's there, it's there. You're going to have, I mean, you could remove it, but you're going to have a hard time trying to do it.
Right. I agree with you. Hey, I'm going to show you something on screen. I'm going to try to share here. Okay. I don't really share much on my things, but I'm going to share something with you because this I think gets to the heart of another misleading understanding of this product, right?
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Okay. All right. You said it to me when we were talking earlier. You go, "Oh my God, Tim, please don't call them stickers. Whatever you do, stop calling them stickers." And I agree with you.
No.
Do you know why? Here we go. Object on the right. That is a sticker. That is printed. Because the question would become, well, why don't I just, get a $13,000 Mamaki CJV 200, load in some adhesive vinyl and, make stickers. I'm like, yeah, you could do that. But the problem is it's going to look like the thing on the right. And the one on the left is what you get with UV DTF, which is there's no film on the mug.
Correct.
None.
Correct.
It's just ink on the mug. And you see the impression, it looks dynamite. I mean, it looks great. And the one on the right, it looks bad now, but wait till it gets dirt and everything all around the edges. You can't wash that. And even if you did it with UV and you did it on a clear film, you're still going to have the film. And the film is going to look ratty and lousy around the edges, and it's just not ready for prime time. Okay.
Correct.
And so whether using UV direct, like a Mamaki UV roll to roll traditional, or you're using it with a solvent, you're going to get the product on the right, or maybe a slightly better version on a clear film, but it's not going to look like what we're talking about.
I agree 100%. The fact that
So we agree we're not calling them stickers. It's
no,
not a sticker
please,
printer.
dear Lord,
You can get a sticker printer for half the price of this that runs faster and does all this stuff. That's not what this is.
Yeah, this is not a sticker printer. And like you said, you're transferring ink. You're not applying film, you're not applying vinyl or of any color or any type. You're transferring ink. That's all you're doing.
All you're doing. So this little cup of mine would make, so I just have one, right? And I want to put my little practical printer logo on. I just thought, hey, you should have a practical printer logo on your cup. Well, I can go online and order one, in which case it would probably be printed direct print on a jig, on a UV printer somewhere. Or if I wanted to, I could just order one of the little, UV transfer to object and images and just put it right on there and take it off. And now I have my own one. I have my one cup, my one image. That's all I need.
Correct.
Or I could look at 10 objects around the house that I want to brand and say, okay, here's the different sizes I need. And you just reach out to someone and say, look, this is what I need. And this is the image. And they print them and send them in a little envelope. The shipping costs are nothing. I can do it all myself. Unlike DTF textile, there's no powder, smell, odor, health concerns. I mean, it's just straight up UV printing.
Zero.
So I look at the little checklist of all the advantages here and go, I don't think somebody's quite getting just how many things you could do with this. And we're in ground zero, in my opinion, we're in ground zero for this technology.
Absolutely.
And the UV part is proven, and the printing and the effectiveness of it is proven. Now it's just a matter of scaling it.
Absolutely, 100%. There's a lot of startups out there, and they will love to have the possibility of just decorating a small portion of what they use or what they want to produce. They don't need 100. They don't need 1,000. Yeah, you can buy it from, overseas, but first you're going to have to wait for it. If it ever comes, right? You got to pay import and taxes and a whole bunch of other things. And you're going to have to cross your fingers and hope that the logo that you send is printed the right way, with the right colors, with the right image. And then again, you're stuck with thousands of them.
Yeah.
You don't need 1,000. You just need 7 today.
Correct. You had a great illustration somebody wants to do a high-end corporate event. They want to take
Correct.
some really nice Bose or Sony headphones, and they want to put the corporate logo on the side of the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And they measure it out. They could easily reach out to someone or have the printer themselves and put custom logos on the side of the headphones that would look great,
Mm-hmm.
would be durable. It's
Mm-hmm.
so durable that if you do use glassware, and you can use any shape and size and anything, as long as you can
Yep.
kind of fit it on there,
Correct.
you can run that glassware through the dishwasher,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
It's dishwasher to give you
Correct.
an idea of the bond. So the technology, in my opinion, the it to me it is far more versatile and has far more markets and far more applications than DTF Textile did.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely.
why I think
100%.
up this has tremendous scalability and a tremendous upside in the industry.
Absolutely. 100%. When it comes to the promo industry, number one, obviously, is going to be textile garments. But number two is under the hard good category is drinkware. So you nail it. Yes. That is the number two, meaning revenue.
Sure. And I don't see this as, like there's things you can do with dye sub,
Oh,
a
yeah.
very inexpensive Epson dye sub printer, and there's things you can do with jigs.
Right.
And I don't think this is necessarily well positioned to be competing on that turf, except that the fact that it has, white ink in the case of, competing against dye sub.
Correct.
I think what you're looking at now is, oh my goodness, I can put this on almost anything and it looks really good. That's the
Correct.
difference. Is everything in the sticker universe before is
Yeah. Yeah. I
it
mean,
still has a film and the film is pulling off and it's getting frayed at the edges and it doesn't look good.
correct. But then again, we didn't have UV direct to film to object. We
No.
didn't have that.
And now we
I
do.
mean, 4 years ago, yeah, you will have to print a
Right.
sticker or a decal or a label, whatever you want to call it, and place it on your mug cup.
Right.
4 years ago, we didn't have this technology available. So you are correct regarding dye sub. Dye sub has a lot of limitations. Limitation number one, it's got to be coated with poly. If it's not coated with poly, then it's just not going to work. Number one. Number two, it's got to be white.
Yeah.
It's got to
'Cause
be
there's
a
no white
white
ink.
mug. It's got to be a white mug. If it's not a white mug, then again, it's not going to work. Number three, limitation, you're limited to certain drinkware. It's got to be heat resistant because the only way you can transfer dye sub is with a heat press. So if you want to transfer that image with dye sub to a plastic cup, no can do
Right.
because you're going to
Right.
melt it, right? So a lot of limitations when it comes to dye sub. Again, it's a great option and it's been available for many, many years. And that was the best we had 4 years ago.
This is going to eat heavily into the dye sub world too.
For sure.
Pad printing is going to take a big hit and dye sub is going to take a big hit.
Huge.
This
Huge.
type of dye sub printing, novelty, I call it tchotchke printing, tchotchke printing. Tchotchke printing
yeah.
is going to move this way.
Huge.
And I give you guys at Hirsch high marks for recognizing it. I think you guys are an excellent organization. You have great service. You're technologically advanced. You have this deep experience with embroidery and then moved over to DTF, which is textile, which is completely natural. And now you've really focused in on the UV market.
Absolutely. It's just a natural step. We have many customers and all they do is not just embroidery, but they're going after the promo industry, the promo
Correct.
business.
Which
and
embroidery is a
this
big part of that, sure.
It's huge. And this just fits so well.
Yeah. It lets them add a whole new line of things that they can do in short runs.
Yep.
Or custom things that nobody can do. Like
Correct.
Some guy's been shopping his product around for years going, who can print my logo on it? And the answer is nobody. Well,
yeah.
And now,
Or
it's
they're gonna
game on.
correct. Or they will say, yes, we'll do it, but you're going to have to pay a fortune.
You're going to pay a lot to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's not, they call it rush order, but 2 weeks from now, that's not rush order.
Right.
Because that's what's available
And
today.
this is
Today,
fast too. Yeah, just put it in. It's
yeah.
digital. It's done. The whole thing can be done in an hour.
Yep. Yep. So
No jigs,
rush
no
order.
setup,
Yep.
no fuss.
A lot of companies are taking huge advantage of those rush orders. Huge. You will be surprised how much money they're making just on rush orders.
Wow.
And people are willing to pay for it.
Well, Carlos, this was illuminating. I think that we're going to define what this is in as many ways as we can. And then obviously we're going to do some very focused work at the Printing United Expo.
Yep.
We'll be there I'll be in your booth on Thursday to really to do what I think hopefully will be the definitive video on
Yep.
this technology, on what you can do with it, on what it's for, on what it doesn't do. Let's also
Correct.
understand what it doesn't do,
Correct.
and then what
Yes.
you need to know about it to be successful. But from everything I've seen, I see no drawbacks to
Nope.
not going guns blazing on this. Now, I
Nope.
know this is just, anytime you had the very first iteration, doesn't matter. You need to be in it.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who's serious in digital print needs to be into UV transfer to object because it's a really big deal.
100%.
And you guys are first to market, and I give high marks to Mamaki for bringing really the first printer that I have any confidence in that you could
Correct.
run unattended.
It
I
works
looked at
really
I looked
well.
at everything that came out before and said, love the concept, just not the
Hmm.
execution.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
not going to name them, but yeah, there's a lot of, attempts.
Well, Mamaki is precision Japanese engineering. They have a lot of
Absolutely.
pride in that. So I have high
Absolutely.
confidence that this will get executed well.
I agree.
All right, Carlos, see you at the show. Thank you very much for joining me on the Practical Printer, and thank you for bringing UV transfer to object, DTF if you must.
Yes,
And it's
sir.
not a sticker printer.
No, please.
What are we going to call them though? Impressions? What do we? I don't want to call them stickers. Images,
Decals,
decals. There we go.
transfers,
Transfers. How about transfers?
to objects, transfers to object, because that's what you're going to do. It's a film that you're going to transfer the ink to an object. That's pretty much it.
Great. Thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Looking forward.
Take care.
Have a good one.